Every morning at the mine you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John, Big John. Nobody seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted into town and stayed all alone. He didn't say much, he kind of quiet and shy. And if you spoke at all, you just said hi to Big John. Somebody said he came from New Orleans, where he got in a fight over a Cajun queen, and a crashing blow from a huge right hand sent a Louisiana fella to the promised land. Big John. Big John. Big John, Big Bad John, Big John, Big John, Big John, Big John, Big Bad John, Big John.
First time I remember seeing John, I came down to Vernal and I went to, his wife Renee was working at the Forest Service at that time up in the personnel office. And her office was facing the back parking lot. And she was standing there looking out the back window at this big guy standing out there with the t-shirt and all these muscles. She says, "Look at that guy, isn't he handsome?" And she says, that's my man. And I'm going, wow, who is that? She said, "Well, that's my husband, John." That's my first memory of John. He's so big, he's almost scary when you first see him. He's a huge man, his hands and his arms and all that, but he's a sweetheart. He's a paper tiger, but I wouldn't mess with him.
He just always helped me out. I never really could pay him back. I just don't think we're going to have anybody that could replace him with the knowledge and the experience he had.
He was always about doing the job right. Mm-hmm. You know, it may be easier this way or someone else wants it done that way, or whatever it was done the right way.
I think every time I've talked to John Pearson, he's made me laugh. But last year when they were talking about the skull, I have never laughed so hard that it hurt and seen him laugh so hard. Because he said he was actually very nervous and scared when he saw that skull.
Well, we were doing the Moon Lake water line last year, and it was a total freaking nightmare. And it just, you know, anything that could go wrong with it did. And getting kind of near the end of it, and they kept having to dig up the line because it zigzagged, you know, instead of just going straight. And everybody was getting frustrated, and kind of were doing little stories about the little ghost up there. And decided one day, just to be funny, I took a little skull that we made and stuck it in one of the holes that we had dug up and just kind of hid it, and so it looked like it was real. And then they got digging into it, and you know, I couldn't really tell if John thought it was real at first, but the reaction was pretty funny. You know, that's not real, that's not real. And, God damn it, that might be real. Everybody needed a little break.
Yeah, old Shannon, he got me that day, but I'll get him.
You'll get him back.
Well, I was sitting up on the hill one day hunting, and I seen some Forest Service employees cleaning the cattle garden. So I asked them, "How you get a job like this?" I met my wife today at a Browns Park dog, and she worked for the Forest Service. I was in construction at the time, and she called me one evening and says, "They're opening up a contract job for Forest Service. You want to apply for it?" I said, "Well, hell, I might as well. Just give me something to do this winter." So I applied for it, and they hired me as a contract truck driver. So I worked there for about a week, and I said, "There ain't no damn way I can work for this outfit for that many years." So I'm still here.
30-something years later.
30-some years later, it's been a wonderful job. It really has. I mean, I've met some good people, worked with some good people, and Russ Mullins for over 30-some years, being him. He started just a little before me, and we did a lot of good work on this forest. Yeah, I think today I walked in there and there were 17 people there, and And we'd hired a lot of summer help back then, but I think we had like 8 full-time operators and then truck drivers, and then we had a lot of laborers. It was a full crew. We did a lot of work on the force back then. You know, we used to do a lot more work. We used to get a lot more done. It didn't seem like we had so many people holding us back on what needed to be accomplished.
Tell us about when you threw the seasonal in the dumpster, man.
Just a young kid and mouthpiece, so I just got tired of him one day and throwed him in a dumpster.
Just left him there.
Ended up being one of my best hands, though, at the end of the season.
He learned his lesson.
Well, it was probably a little crude, but back then, you know, of course, like I say, I've been here a long time. I still haven't went to any sensitivity training, but you got to give everybody a chance. They're all different, you know. Hopefully, by the time the season's over, where you taught them something and they walk away with good, you know, yeah, that was a good job. You know, tell their kids they work for the Forest Service and whatever else. But like I say, you can't beat the job. Sometimes you can't put up with the politics, but you got to remember that you're going to go through a lot of people. So like I told you can outlast them if you sit around here long enough. They come and go like people changing their underwear sometimes. So district rangers, like on the D1, you know, they went through them like clockwork for years, and finally get one to stay, and now he's gone. So well, you never know, you might get a good one. Don't hold your breath.
So at what point did you get involved in the blasting program?
Well, from the beginning, actually, when I first started for the Forest Service, the old leads, I was young, pretty tough back then. We drilled a lot of holes, so that's where we got started. So any project, I'd be there running a hammer, pounding holes in the rock for jobs and whatever else they did. Engineering did most of the blasting back when I first started here. And we started with cap and fuse, and they outlawed that about the time I got into the program, and we went to all electric, and then we went to non-L, and then we're pretty safe from there. I went through 4 lead blasters before I became the lead, so gained a lot of experience from them old guys, and it's good times.
What's one of your most memorable blasting projects you've ever done?
Probably when we took down the water tower at Lucerne. That was a pretty fun project. I've had a lot of them through the years, a lot of blasts and shots, and everybody's still here. It's been a good program.
First thing I remember knowing, the lonesome whistle blowing, and a youngin's dream of growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound.
Waste of good government
No one
money.
changed my mind. Mama tried. One and only rebel child from a family meek and mild. My mama seemed to know what lay in store. Had all my Sunday learning, worked a bad I kept on turning till mama couldn't hold me anymore. I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right. Mama tried, mama tried, mama tried.
Don't be taking pictures of an old man.
Bleeding eye denied, that leaves only me to blame, 'cause mama tried. Dear old daddy, rest his soul, left my mom a heavy load. She tried so very hard to fill his shoes.
Oh, it's just liquid shame.
Now, without rest, wanted me to have the best. She
It'll
tried
go
to
off.
treat me right, but I refused.
Double wrap like this and prime them.
Turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one
Boom,
could steer me right.
boom, boom,
Mama
boom, boom,
tried,
boom, boom.
Mama tried to raise me better. Bleeding eye denied, that leaves only me to blame. Mama tried.
I gotta tell you, my favorite memory about John was when he has to come to work every Monday in a bad attitude, bad Monday. He would get all frustrated and in his back here, have a bad attitude. So I would always tell John, hey buddy, you need a hug? Because if you don't drop your stinking attitude, I'll drop it for you. John would be like, oh, whatever. So I would just climb into his back hair and just come right around there and give him the biggest bear hug he could ever get. He'd be like, get off me! Oh man, those are my favorite memories. Giving John hugs, those are the best. He doesn't like them, but I love him.
Who else could give him a hug?
Just me. I'm the only one who will give him a hug. Nobody else will but me. He never gave me any nicknames or anything. Everybody would have their own nickname depending on how they do their job.
They kept calling this guy Chicken Puffer. What the hell is a Chicken Puffer?
Okay, alright. Safety first. John Pearson gave me the nickname Pharmacist Arms because he said these guns were only good for lifting pills.
Oh yeah, Big John. He had a nickname for me. He called me Wonder Child. Not sure why. He also told me if I ever wanted to take time off without burning any leave, I should claim the 3-2 flu.
Oh, hey there. I think my blinker fluid's low and I'm looking to add a little bit more here. You know, John always used to call me College Boy, and I really don't know why.
Yeah, John Pearson had a few nicknames for me. Wonder Child, Boy Wonder, Bearded Wonder.
I was called me Pretty Boy. So I get it every morning. Hey, pretty boy. And what's up, little John? Everybody else knew him as Big John. He's a bear of a man, of course, but he's just a really good guy. It'd be hard to replace him. There just won't be a replacement. He's from that generation that just shows up and works hard and doesn't complain. He just gets it done.
One thing I learned from John is you don't quit just because something's hard. You know, it's you find a way to work through it. You make it work. Hell of an operator. You know, as soon as you watch him for a second, you know he's somebody that knows what he's doing. He wasn't going to go call the office and say we can't do this. He'd get it done. You know, and he'd get it done well.
It's been fun. I mean, it's time for this old cowboy to get on a new horse, so this old broken down one's got to go. Oh, well, you can't fix stupid, and you can always outlast them.
An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Up on a ridge he rested as he went along his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged skies and up a cloudy draw. Their brands were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. Their horns were black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-i-oh,